So if you've been thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or starting something or changing something in your life, has something been holding you back? So a lot of times we end up having things that come up in life, or sometimes we just make excuses. But really, if we have an idea or we see something that we can help other people with or something that we can better our own lives with, we need to not waste any more time. You need to get started today. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for another episode of Empire Your Life. And today we're going to get into the exciting topic of just get started. That's right. Stop procrastinating and just get started. And in the spirit of just getting started, we're going to jump right into today's topic. Don't waste any more time thinking about what you should be doing. Thinking about how perfect you need to make it or all the obstacles that you're going to have to overcome, because I'll tell you, ironically, thinking and waiting is actually more frustrating and harder than if you just were to actually get started and start moving in a positive direction. And look, I know it's hard to get over that first hump, to take that first step, to actually get going on something new. But the beautiful part is once you actually get started, that ball starts rolling and you're able to accomplish so much more, because now you're spending time thinking about doing things and getting things done instead of just spending time about all the things that you can't do or trying to avoid different things. And you don't want to wait any longer to take action, because ironically, it's actually more frustrating for you to not do anything and sit and dwell about what you could be doing or what you should be doing, instead of just actually getting out there and going through the pain of actually doing it. And so don't waste any time, just get out there and do it. So here's a few tips and tricks that I think will help you to get started on whatever you're looking to get started with, whether it's a new business or something in your personal life. The first tip that I want to go over is more about getting started than being worried about perfection. And we all have this problem. We all come up with this idea or something we want to change or something we want to get started and do. And we have this idea that, oh, well, we can't start until we have it perfect. We can't start until that plan is perfect. We can't start until we have every little detail figured out. Well, I'll tell you, if you wait to get every single detail figured out, you're never going to start anything. And to be honest with you, whether it's a business or something in your personal life, nobody has it all figured out. You could spend all the time, months, years that you want, and you're still not going to have every detail figured out, because the only way you're going to figure out every detail is for you to get started and go through all those trials and tribulations and bounce around and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And as you're going through this process, you're going to grow as a person and figure out all the things that you need to continue to work on to make that thing better and better and better. But don't think that everybody has it all figured out. Everybody that you see is at a high state right now, whether it's some high business owner or somebody that runs an organization, at one point they had to get started. They did not have it figured out. And I guarantee if you talk to them, they'll tell you the same exact thing, that they had so many empty holes in their game when they got started. But they had the courage to jump in and actually get started, because that makes the difference. Don't worry about being perfect, just get started. This next tip is that you do not have to be number one to get anything started. It's okay if you're number 2 or number 3. And that's such a problem with our world today, is because we're all comparing to each other. We're all trying to outdo each other. And we get that feeling of like, all right, well, if they're number 1, well, I can't compete in that space, and I get discouraged, and you don't want to even try that thing that you've been wanting to do for so long. Well, just know that you do not have to be number 1. Once you get into the game, see how it goes. If you're number 2, if you're number 3, it's okay. At least you tried. At least you're working on getting better. Just don't worry about being number 1. And that is such a big problem in the world today, because especially with Facebook and social media, we're all looking at each other's statuses and seeing, oh, how great their life is. how great their business is. Look at all the wonderful things that this person is doing. They are perfect, they are number one, they have it together. But just know that social media really makes everything a whole lot worse, because it paints these perfect pictures of these people that are living these number one lives, these number one businesses. But really at the end of the day, a lot of times there's a lot of fluff out there. People are making things look a lot better than they actually are. But when you get down to the true story of what's happening, things most of the time are really not that good. And so what's happening is as they're puffing up all these things in personal life and business, it's creating this high standard, this high pedestal that you feel like you cannot reach. And it discourages you because you say, hey, I will never reach that. I will never be number one. So why even start? And so I want you to, just think about that. And when you look at social media, and I do it myself, where I look at different people's pages and I scroll through and see what's going on. And I get those feelings too every now and then of, hey, this person's doing X, Y, Z. This person's putting on a conference. This person's going to speak in an event. Why am I not doing these things? How are they doing these things? Am I really in the right place right now? Should I be starting this channel? Should I be doing that? Well, don't let all that discourage you. You need to quiet all of that noise, because even though you might not be number one, and yes, you may not be doing everything that person is doing, but you still need to get started and put yourself out there, because by getting started, you're going to get into the positions and have the opportunity to potentially be number one. But you have to start somewhere in order to get there. Don't think that you have to start with the mindset that you're going to be the best, because it is just not going to happen. It is a long road, years and years it could be, to become number one and to become the best. But if you put the time in, you put in the hard work, you will continue to get better and better. And just instead of looking at all those people on social media, set a marker for yourself. See where you are personally and set goals for yourself that you want to continue to grow. And don't compare to other people. Just compare to yourself and where you were yesterday, last week, a year ago, and continue to grow from there. Because if you're continuing to move in a positive line from that direction, you're doing great. This next tip for getting started is you need to know that life right now is not a dress rehearsal. This is the real deal. This is the one and only show. And so if you're waiting to do something, you are losing valuable time, precious moments that you can be working on or starting whatever you're looking to do. And you just never know when your card's going to be punched. And so you need to get started today and start working on your goals and your dreams, because this is such a short life. Really, in the big scheme of things, we have a very short lifespan, and we only have so many moments to be able to do things in this lifetime. And so make the most out of your life. Don't waste them, watching TV all the time. Don't waste them worrying about what other people are doing on social media. Focus on you and yourself and getting ahead and being better than you were yesterday, and continue to just move in that positive direction. You have to continue to start and do things in all areas of life. So be working on your spiritual life. If you're looking to, say, start reading the Bible, put it on a calendar and get started. If it's your physical fitness, get in the gym, work out, go get started. You are never going to lose those unwanted pounds if you don't go step in the gym or start some kind of home workout routine. Or in your relationships, if you feel like there's something you need to be doing in your relationships, whether it's relationships with your wife or your kids, go do them. Don't waste any more time thinking about it and letting things simmer. Put yourself out there and go get started doing what you want to do. If it's wealth, get out there, and if you want to build wealth and you've been thinking about doing rental properties, well, the old saying goes, don't wait to buy real estate and wait. And that goes exactly with what we're talking about today, which is don't waste time. If you want to buy rental properties, if you want to build wealth, then start. Go out there and start looking for a house, because if you just keep talking about buying a rental property, it isn't going to happen. You have to actually make the initiative to step out, go find that deal, evaluate that deal, buy that deal, work that deal, manage that deal, and build that wealth. And yes, when you're just getting started with things, and of course you're starting and it's not perfect, you are gonna have failures. You're gonna have bad days, bad months, or even in some cases, bad years. But the thing is these failures, don't look at them as a bad thing. And we're gonna do a video at a later time about failure, but you need to know that failure is not a bad thing, because if you're getting to the point of failing at something, guess what? That means you're trying. And if you're trying, you're heading in the right direction. And the key thing is that if you do fail, when you do fail, should I say, you need to learn from those failures and don't fall back. You need to use those failures and you need to fail forward. And overall, just keep in mind that being the best is not needed to have happiness and fulfillment. You can still be totally happy and have a total sense of fulfillment without being the best at anything. But it is absolutely necessary that you get in the game in every single one of these categories. So think back to what your why is, what do you want to get started, and get started today. So just remember that version 1 is always better than version none. So get out there, build your empire, and get started.